Today being a Friday, we're going to talk about what have been trending in between the week. And we're going to start with the top stories. Number one being the Ugandan government has started the talks to be transporting their oil, all of their oil, via Tanzania.
Our goods pass through Mombasa. That one, we are now developing the port in Bukasa.
They are not going to transport their oil via Kenya. Another story is Raila Odinga, Baba himself, has shown an interest to eye the top job in the AU, meaning like he's going to shift his offices to the Addis Ababa, which is the capital of the African Union Commission and even the capital of Ethiopia.
I am inclined to accept the challenge. Should the leadership of Africa want my services, I am ready and offer myself to be of service to this continent. And I've asked my friend to continue to be a good ambassador and talk to other people elsewhere. I don't want to say much more than that. And therefore today I want to make it public that I'm ready, yes, to go for the chairmanship of the African Union. Thank you.
Another top story is the Kenyan shilling is now winning its way back against the dollar. So, starting with the top story about the Kenyan shilling gaining against the dollar, and here's where our focus is today. Surprisingly, the Kenyan shilling is significantly appreciating against the dollar, and most importantly, the global currencies. And I know to most of you is a shock. None expected this to happen and to happen this fast. So the question is, how long will it last, or it will decline again? So today we're going to discuss about the reasons why the Kenyan shilling is appreciating in the market, because for the last 3 months it has been depreciating against the US dollar. However, before this, I understand the fact that there are some people who doesn't understand how the rate exchange works, how it functions. I'll use a simple phenomenon that even a high school student can relate. So imagine this way: you are a local producer, you are a local farmer of tea, and the tea that you're producing is being exported outside the country, it's being exported overseas. So here is what happens. You pass your tea to the broker, the people now who are responsible to export the tea in the out market. So what will happen? They will be paid in dollars. Let's say they are exporting the tea to the United States market, to the USA market, so they will be paid in dollars. And once they be paid in dollars, they will take that dollar into the government reserves, for example here the CBK. And once they take that dollar to the CBK, the government will preserve that dollar. You now understand? After they take the dollars to the government reserve, they now exchange it with the Kenyan shilling. That the amount, the dollar that they have is the dollar they give the government, and the government give back the shillings that are equivalent to the dollar that they have issued to the government. So that's how the rates changes. In the tea case, after the brokers, they come with the dollars, they will issue the dollars to the government reserves, and the government reserves, they will exchange the dollar with the shillings, with the significant shillings that we have. So it doesn't mean like if the government will produce a lot of money than the dollars they have, that money will lose value, because that money is on the right proportion with the dollars that are in the reserves. Because some years ago gold was used to back the dollar, but since the gold became rare, nowadays the dollar is standing the way it is. There's no gold that is backing the dollar. So what affects the currency is the trade balance. Once you export more than you import, that one creates the demand of the local currency, because once you export more, meaning a lot of people are producing. For you to export more, you need to have a lot of people who are producing whatever you are exporting, and these a lot of people, they're going to bring the demand of the local currency, and this is what balances the currencies and affects the rate of the forex exchange. However, the shilling getting stronger is a bad news to local people who have been earning salaries in dollars, to those who have family members working abroad, I mean the diaspora remittance and even exporters, because they have been benefiting a lot from the shilling becoming weak. Look at this graph. You will notice the difference from 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic to early this year when $1 was relevant to 160.16 Kenyan shillings. Speaking on Wednesday in Murang'a County, the President William Ruto said that the government has a plan to raise the economy.
So unajua last week nilikuwa nalipa ile deni kubwa waliwachiwa na watu wa nje. Sasa nimelipa hiyo last week, si namna hiyo? Na nilikwambia kwanza nilipe watoto waende shule alafu nikupange. Dogo wananiambia pesa yao ya akaunti imechelewa. Lakini nimewaambia wacha nicheleweshe yenu kidogo, kwanza nihakikisha watoto wote wa Kenya wako shuleni. Hii Januari nimeweka bilioni 61 katika masomo ya watoto.
The president further said he will not allow the country to get into severe debts. Rather, he will face the debt issue head on. I want you to watch this.
Interest rates for development capital. Many of our countries, and we are here and they say figures don't lie. 9 countries are already in debt distress in our continent, over the cliff. 13 countries are classified as high risk, and another 17 countries are classified as moderate risk. And the biggest contributor to debt distress in our continent is high interest rates. We pay 5 times more than others. Meaning that in fact, the architecture is set up in a manner that if you borrow, it will be difficult for you to pay. And that is why we need a conversation, and a very candid conversation, and we are saying this in all honesty, around how do we get concessional funding? How do we pay as much as others are paying? How do we get Africa away from paying 5 times more?
So we're going to talk about the factors that caused the Kenyan shilling to improve in the marketplace. Factor number 1 is what we call the trade balance. The trade balance happens when the exports exceeds the imports. Once you export more than you import, it's going to bring the impact, the demand of the local currency. Because once you export more, you're going to need a lot of people to produce more. And when a lot of people are producing more, they're going to demand payments. And when they demand payments, they are going to demand a lot of shillings. And through that, it creates the confidence upon the shilling, upon the local currency. And through such, it gains the stability in the forex trade, because logically it increases the demand of the local currency, it increases the demand of the Kenyan shilling, and thus appreciating against the dollar. Another reason number 2 is the stable economic policies. This one has shown a very significant impact when the government came up very clear that they are going to clear the Eurobond that was to mature in June. So by the government ability and willingness to clear the Eurobond, this one has attracted a lot of investors. It has attracted a lot of foreign investors, because now it has given them the assurance that the economy is going to be stable in the next coming years. Earlier this week, the government sold a new bond at a price of $1.5 billion. The Eurobond is maturing in a period of 6 years. That will be in 2031. The National Treasury said this loan is divided into 3 installments. And keep this in your mind that this bond price is the biggest rate an African state has ever offered. Another point number 3 is the improved economic performance. The improved economic performance, here I mean On Monday last week, during the monthly Post-Monetary Policy Committee, the MPC, the CBK Governor, Kamau Duge, said that the stabilization of the local currency is getting momentum.
We are concerned about the non-performing loans and what impact the rising interest rates would have on them. We continue to keep an eye on them, but we are also convinced that stabilizing inflation and stabilizing the exchange rate at this time is the most critical. We have the resources, the money that is coming in from the World Bank, from regional institutions, from the international multilateral institutions, our accessing capital markets, that this risk that of the Eurobond will be, in my view, will be completely eliminated.
Another reason, number 4, is the foreign direct investment, the FDI. You've seen the president moving around the globe, moving in different countries. A lot of people have memed his movements, but he was doing this to attract significant foreign investments.
Guys, I bring you greetings from Kenya, the land of the greatest marathoners, from the youngest continent in the globe. It is wonderful to see you, so many people from around the world, in one of the most historic cities, under the magnificent Eiffel Tower. The joy and happiness exuded by all of us here, I wish it could be shared around the world. The people of Kenya, Africa, and many parts of the world live in the reality of the new normal. The climate crisis is getting worse every year, with millions losing their lives and livelihoods to drought, flash floods, heat waves, cyclones, and wildfires. Luckily, the solutions to make a difference are in our hands. And when I see you, I see the future, and I see the solution to the challenges that exist in our globe. We have the necessary technology, we have the necessary finances today, and it is possible for all of us to act together to course correct. What has gone wrong, we have it in our power to get it right. It requires solidarity, it requires fairness, it requires equity. And when I see you, I see that great future of immense possibilities. Africa has the greatest potential for renewable energy, from solar, from wind, from hydro, from geothermal. Kenya is already leading the way with 92% of our grid being green. At this global citizen event, we call for a global financial system that is fit for purpose. One that does not pit the West against the East, or the North against the South, or emitters against those who don't emit, or the developing against the developed. We want one that is fair, a financial system that is fair, that is transparent, and it is not too much to ask for a fair system. A financial system that does not advantage emitters and disadvantage low-income countries. A financial system that supports a climate-positive growth and a green industrial growth powered by renewable resources to help us all decarbonize. It should also provide Africa and the global South with affordable finance that can help us all attain a goal of low carbon and resilient world and attain the Paris Agreement of net zero by 2050. This is ultimately about our people, about us all,
and our health is the human face of climate change. Our next frontier is building climate and pandemic resilient health systems, resilient economic development. Together, we can build a better future for people and planet. I love you guys. Thank you very much. See you in Nairobi in September. We will expect you in Nairobi on the 4th and 6th in September for the Africa Climate Summit, where finally we will have the final discourse on a new financial system and on a green, resilient growth. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. God bless you.
Reason number 5 is the political stability. Before the investors investing into the country, they're going to look at the political structure and stability in that country. And after the elections, a lot of things have been happening. There were a lot of things going on, but Kenyans have gotten back to their businesses, and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Baba himself, is getting a top AU job, meaning his offices will be in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia.